The following podcast is taken from a live broadcast on Inspire FM.
Catch a creative vibe on the Urban Kube with Sister Shamiza.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and Assalamu alaikum. A very hearty salams to all our listeners, new and old, this morning. It is 10 o'clock exactly, Monday, 20th of May, and it's the third Monday into Ramadan, mashallah. It's going by very quickly, folks. It really is. How are you all bearing up? Would love to find out how you are this morning. Are you listening to me whilst you're travelling to work, maybe, or at home? Would be great to find out where our wonderful listeners are tuning in from. Now, we are going live and direct across Luton surrounding areas and always across to the wonderful airwaves of Salam Radio in Peterborough and Link FM in Sheffield. Massive big salams to all our listeners across Peterborough and Sheffield this morning. Now, goodness me, we've been very busy across the radio station, especially Inspire FM. Friday was the big Iftar, and it was part of a national event where I think 17 to 18 radio stations came together and hosted iftars for their local communities. And we're going to be speaking to Brother Tariq later on about how that event went. It'd be wonderful if Brother Faisal is listening in, the guy behind this awesome idea, if he kind of maybe WhatsApps us in, that was a bit of a mouthful, to tell us what it was like in Sheffield, organising this open iftar, inviting the local communities across the countries to come to the centre of their towns or venues and open breakfast with their neighbours. Beautiful event. And what's really absolutely awesome, these initiatives are not slowing down. Every single day I am seeing a wonderful iftar organised by so many different community groups. Such a beautiful thing to see. And we're going to be talking about a very interesting open iftar that is going to be hosted at the end of the week as well, inshallah. And this is an iftar with a bit of a difference. It's all about ethical and being green. So we'll be joined by my guest very, very shortly. Her name is Sarah Mohammed, mashallah, who is a community activist, and she's going to be talking about her work with the Rabbani projects and especially about the Green Deen Ethical Iftar that she is supporting. Now, she's somebody who's passionate about community activism, and we'll be finding out a little bit more about her work in the community as well. It doesn't stop there. Conversations are also going to be had with the very awesome halal food blogger Lili Khan. Now, Lili is going to be talking to us not just about halal food blogging, but also her role as a teacher as well. We're going to hopefully get some revision tips from her. Now, I understand the exams have started. Well, they have in my household. Massive big duas to all the children who are sitting their exams. And the GCSEs and A-levels have started. And duas to the parents as well, trying to keep it together and keeping them motivated, the children motivated as well, mashallah. So I'm be looking forward to finding out what Lili is going to be suggesting. Now, Lili is part of a very interesting event. It's a Come Dine With Me Iftar with the Salam charity, where bloggers are coming together and doing Insta lives of their iftars with the community. So that's another interesting take on breaking the fast with local communities, but being a social influencer in doing so. I'm also joined by a very, very talented poet who's also an academic, and she is an author of a book too. Her name is Elena, and she's going to be joining me performing a live piece on the show very, very shortly as well. And it doesn't end there, guys. You know what? We're also about what's going to be happening after Ramadan, when all the celebrations all continue. And that is the Kayak Eid Festival happening in Milton Keynes. It's the 11th year that the festival has been hosted by no other than the absolutely fabulous brother Anouar Kassim. Now, he's joining me back in the studio. Inshallah, every year I've had the pleasure of brother Anouar joining me across Ramadan, talking to me about his amazing festival, and the conversations are still being had 11 years on regarding the Milton Keynes Art in the Park Festival. So it's called Art by the Lake, it seems, at Campbell Park. So we'll be finding out what you can expect at the Kayak Festival, inshallah. Now, as always, this show is all about celebrating the creative journeys of each of our guests, mashallah, and we're also going to be finding out about their Ramadan goals as well. What are they hoping to achieve across Ramadan? What differences are they hoping to make within themselves and within the communities that they're part of too, which I'm really looking forward to hearing, because I always love finding out about the experiences and journeys that all our brothers and sisters have across Ramadan, because it's not something I've just completely lost my trail of thought, people. I've lost my trail of thought. It's a fantabulous opportunity to hear the spiritual journey of our guests. And I use the term fantabulous because my talking point, or my conversation today on the show that I'm going to also have with my guests, is, do you have a favourite word? Is there a word that you love using? I love using fantabulous. What about you? Is there a word that you love using? Do tell us. Would love to find out. Is there a word that you repeat often and sometimes don't even notice saying it? I tend to say sparkly. That's my word. I always say sparkly salams. I'm sending you sparkly duas. That's also something that I love to say. So do you have a favourite word? Is there a word that you're using quite often across Ramadan? Now, to do so, contact us on 0777 948 1822. Would love to hear what your favourite word as well. And it's also National Walk to School Week today. Yes, it is, people. So maybe that could be your Ramadan goal this week. You could be walking to school with your children. Now, we do understand that we're so dependent on driving everywhere, even the shortest distances, and maybe this could be one way of reducing pollution in your households, because the carbon footprint is quite intense, actually. I'm going to find out a little bit more about ethical issues with my next guest this morning. She is a community activist, mashallah, who's really making her mark across the communities in London, and her passion for ethical issues has been really inspired by the Rabbani project, where she was at a retreat. This has led to her participating in hosting a Green Deen Ethical Iftar with the Rabbani project and Rumi's Cave. Now, I have absolute pleasure in inviting the wonderful Sarah Mohammed on the show this morning. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
How are you, my dear?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. How are you?
I'm very, very well. Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Mubarak to you and to everyone.
MashaAllah. So how has it been for you so far?
Alhamdulillah, it's been good. It's halfway gone. Crazy.
It has. Oh my goodness. Three Mondays in already. Mashallah, mashallah. Now, Sarah, it's an absolute pleasure having you joining us on the show today, especially as one key thing that we try and instigate on the Ramadan specials on the Urban Kube is trying to get people to think a little bit more greener. And that's something that you're definitely inspiring. We've had a lot of open iftars happening across the country, and it's an absolute pleasure to share those projects, all those iftars. But there's something quite interesting, quite special about the one that you're hosting.
Yeah, super exciting.
Tell us a little bit more.
So, inshallah, on Saturday, we will be having a Green Bean Ethical Iftar. Inshallah, our plan, and we are really hoping, and it's really difficult, and this is part of the reason why we're doing this, to have a zero waste iftar. It will be a vegan and vegetarian iftar. As much as possible, we will be producing food that is cooked with seasonal ingredients, locally sourced ingredients, and hopefully creating a space for community, for conversation around this, and rooting this in our connection to Allah and connection to Allah through nature and our responsibility to nature as worshippers of Allah.
Subhanallah. And you know, the wonderful thing is you mentioned seasonal vegetables. What are seasonal vegetables that are going to be cooked at this iftar?
So we are, I'm gonna share a bit of the menu. How excited. We're gonna have nettle soup. I know, we're gonna have nettle soup, inshallah, which is super easy to cultivate, super easy to kind of forage and make, inshallah. We will be having other vegetable soups that are local, like seasonal. Things like peas are in season at the moment, asparagus, hopefully, inshallah, like spinach. Spinach is in season, that's going to. Rhubarb, strawberries. There's lots actually coming at the moment. It's a really exciting time. I love May and June.
And you know, you mentioned foraging. What is foraging?
It's sort of, you can go in, so it's really important when you go foraging that you are respectful of what is there and not taking too much. But essentially, there's stuff that we can eat everywhere, as long as you know what you're looking for. But like, for example, wild garlic. If you look around trees and you look around woodlands, you'll probably find quite a lot of it. If people have gardens, I have a garden and I have quite a lot of wild garlic that just grows naturally, and it's exactly like garlic. But you can just use it and cultivate that and just take it and chop it up, put it in your cooking.
And nettles, you mentioned nettles. Now, that sounds a little bit painful to eat.
Yeah, it won't be painful to eat. They're really good.
But nettle soup is something that's quite common and quite popular. I've heard it mentioned before by a previous guest. Tell us a little bit about nettle soup. How is that created?
To be honest, I have no idea. That's why you have to come to the iftar.
I like the way you've done that. I really do. Now,
I actually have no idea.
Oh, bless you. But it's part of the menu. So this menu that you've created is all about zero waste. You're using vegan and vegetarian food that is seasonal ingredients that are locally sourced and possibly even foraged from local gardens and areas as well, mashallah. What is it about this event, Sarah, that is so important for local communities and for people to attend? Why do you think we should be attending this type of iftar? What is this paving the way for?
I think there's two things to that. I think one, Ramadan is a beautiful opportunity to share and to reconnect to the community, to share food. And I think any opportunity to do that, we have a responsibility that our iftars are zero waste, that they are accessible, that they are inclusive, and that we are responsible and intentional with what we do. But I also think it provides, hopefully, inshallah, an opportunity for conversation to reconnect to nature. We all live in really, really busy cities, and cities are almost designed to disconnect us from our connection to nature, our connection to Allah, our kind of what we need, like the spiritual kind of gains that we get from being in nature. We don't get that as much. And when we're able to come together and have a conversation, we're able to sort of inspire each other to connect, to communicate our own experiences, to reconnect to the divine kind of beauty, the essence of it all. And I think it kind of provides an opportunity for that, an opportunity for community. There are going to, inshallah, at the event, there's going to be some people giving talks and providing really practical tips and things that we can do. And also, there are people doing incredible things, and they come to the event too, and it's really inspiring to hear what they're doing and kind of creating it almost like a little movement of people who are interested, who are curious, who are super actively engaged already, and just sharing in that.
SubhanAllah, it does sound seriously exciting. And I love the fact that, creating a movement. And this movement that you're creating is all about zero waste. Zero waste is what you're trying to create a platform for, inshallah. And how are people responding, especially from the Muslim community, about zero waste across Ramadan? Are you guys the only organization, Rabbani project, that are promoting this? Are you seeing a change across masjids and iftaris across the country?
Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely not the only people. I think even from last year's iftar, the amount of people that came, alhamdulillah, that were excited by it, the amount of people that were engaging in a conversation, and I think the amount of people that are interested in the event this year just shows how how much people are eager for this. But it's been wicked. There's been like loads of mosques I've seen that have replaced plastic water bottles with like water fountains, or have been handing out reusable water bottles. Mosques have not been using any plastic. There's also a super cool campaign on Facebook called Plastic Free Ramadan you can check out, which provides really cool tips and tricks for having a plastic free Ramadan, and hopefully inshallah zero waste Ramadan.
Zero waste Ramadan, and may it continue not just only for Ramadan but beyond as well. Now, the Rabbani project is the hosts for this event. Tell us a little bit about the Rabbani project and how you've got involved.
Cool. So the Rabbani project is essentially a collective of projects that provide a space to connect spiritually and creatively to Allah and to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. For me, I think the Rabbani project has and continues to provide sort of places of disconnection in order for reconnection. Like I said, life's busy. Like, London's a busy place. Even if you're not busy, you're just busy because you're in London. It's just everything's busy, everything's a distraction. And I find that it's quite a grounding space in which we connect, kind of seeking, connecting and communicating with Allah, with divine beauty, people sharing their own experiences, their own journey, their own connection through different platforms. It's pretty holistic in that it's rooted in kind of what we're currently living in, the fact that like the Green Deen is looking at as plastic-free Ramadan, we're looking at kind of the understanding of us as stewards, but it's also very much rooted in our purpose and the oneness of Allah and connecting to that.
Has being part of the Rabbani project helped you kind of change your mindset and the way you see yourself as a Muslim and the environment around you?
Yeah, I think so. I think the retreats have provided me an opportunity to disconnect. I'm going to keep saying the word disconnect, but it really has. Disconnect in order to reconnect to my own personal essence, my own purpose. That it's created a really beautiful community. We have access to so many people that come and share so much of themselves, and you're able to gain from the benefit of just being in the company of that, being in the way that you observe the world, the support and the solidarity, the networks that you can have, the kind of tree networks as well.
Wow. And these networks are those that are going to be, hopefully, inshallah, at this very exciting Green Deen Iftari, which is all about being ethical. Now, Sarah, do tell us when this is being hosted and how people can get involved and come down.
So it is being hosted at Rumi's Cave, inshallah, which is northwest London, on the 25th of May, which is this Saturday. We're going to be starting around 7:30, where we will be having talks, like I said, and an opportunity to come and meet, chat with people, and then we will be sharing our iftar with you all.
Mashallah. And
check out the Facebook page for the Rabbani Project, the Instagram page for the Rabbani Project, and the Eventbrite, which is how you need to sign up.
Cool. Now, it's zero waste is the key message here. Not only just being ethical, and it's all about sustainability as well, mashallah. Now, are you expecting your guests to bring their own cutlery? Because I remember this last year that you invited everybody to bring their own cups and plates.
We are, yes. So if you can, please bring Tupperware, cutlery, maybe a plate, whatever's easy for you to carry, a reusable water bottle. That's the best way that we can ensure that the event is zero waste. But we also will be eating together, so we'll be sharing from large plates.
Okay.
It's bringing back the idea of community, of sharing over a large plate of food.
A platter, sharing from a platter, which was it's a very traditional form of eating, and it's beautiful that communities are coming back in order to do that. And it saves on washing as well.
Yeah.
It definitely does. Now, Sarah, this is a project that you really have got your heart and soul connected to. But what else do you do apart from supporting the work of the Rabbani project? Now, I understand you're a community activist, and education and issues concerning women and girls are another area that you're passionate about. So what is your role beyond Rabbani?
So I essentially facilitate workshops and sessions for different people, for organisations that want to make sure that their work is inclusive and hopefully diverse and representative. But also going further than that, how can we make our spaces comfortable for everybody, recognising that there are differences currently in the world. Predominantly the work I do is with young women, partly because I just think they're incredible and I learn so much from them and they have so much to offer. And we sort of look at what's going on in the world and what they can do to change that, but also really recognising their own power and their own courage in doing so.
Now, the interfaith work is something that you've just mentioned, connecting with communities. How can change be created? What change would you like to see? Because you've talked about inclusive, safe spaces for young women and girls to make them feel empowered. Are we seeing these spaces being created? Do we need more?
We always need more. We always need more. We always need spaces where we recognise our own power, where we celebrate each other, where we connect, where we can encourage each other to thrive. And I think there are more spaces happening, and I think that's a good thing. I think that's a really good thing.
Inshallah, may that continue. Now, folks, if you've just tuned in, you're listening to the Urban Kube with me, Shamiza, taking you all the way up to 12 o'clock. And it is at 10:21, Monday, 20th of May. And I'm delighted to introduce my first guest, Sarah Mohammed, who has joined us all the way from London this morning. She is a part of the Rabbani project, and she's been talking about how we can make our Ramadan #0 waste free. And in order to do that, they have hosted, or they're hosting, a very interesting iftari, which is Green Deen Ethical Iftar with the Rabbani project at Rumi's Cave, mashallah. And the whole purpose is to kind of make us more aware of an alternative way of living, a living that, inshallah, is really respecting the environment and making us spiritually conscious about our actions and the environment around us, mashallah. It's an absolute pleasure having Sarah join us this morning, inshallah, to talk about this project. Sarah, I'm sure lots of people are curious to find out a little bit more about this project and also this iftari. Is it open to anybody and everybody? Do you have to be Muslim to attend?
No, absolutely not. It's open to absolutely everyone. Bring everyone and anyone. Everyone can. But sign up on the link.
Yeah, sign up on it does help if you do that. So, Sarah, tell us, how can folks sign up to the link?
Eventbrite. We have an Eventbrite page. Sign up. You can book your tickets there. And come and bring your cutlery and your water bottle and Tupperware or plate.
And yourself as well. That would be very great. Yeah. Great to do so. Yeah. Now, on today's show, folks, we're also asking, do you have a favourite word? Is there a word that you use that you don't even know that you use it, but you use it all the time? Now, I know you use a particular word, Sarah, which makes me giggle, and I think it's really, really cool. But I'm going to ask you, do you have a favourite word, Sarah?
What's my favourite word?
It's not your favourite word, but I've heard you use it. It makes me laugh.
Which word is it?
Wicked.
Wicked, yeah, that's true. Actually, I do use that a lot, and I use mad a lot. I'm like, mad, everything's mad. It's not, but yeah.
It's like it's proper 90s, but it's wicked. Is there what makes you use that word? Well, how does that word enable you to emphasise a point? In is that why you use it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it just summarises everything. It's like, cool, we've established that. Wicked.
We're never too old to use words like that, right?
No, bring it back.
Any other words that you use?
Mad. Everything's just, it's mad. Wow.
Oh,
wild.
Mad, wild. Oh, you're totally rocking it, girl. You are totally rocking it.
I need to work on my vocabulary.
Oh, bless you. But hey, we can help you with that. The word we want to use throughout Ramadan is zero waste. What you saying, girl?
Yes, #0 waste.
#0 waste. It's mad. It totally is. It's revolutionary. And this is what we're doing. We are totally making sure this works, inshallah. Now, folks, tuning in, It's a mad show. It's wicked. It is the Urban Kube. Ramadan Mubarak to everybody tuning in. I'm not going crazy. I'm just elated with the conversation I'm having with my absolutely fantastic guest this morning, Sarah Mohammed, who is somebody who is really making a mark in the environmental, ethical issues across Ramadan with this fantastic open iftar. Now, we are going to a break. Sarah, before we go, I just want to ask you quickly, Ramadan goals.
Mindfulness and awareness of myself, and awareness of what I consume, how much I consume, what I'm giving my energy and time to, and including in that is my awareness of how much plastic I take in everything I use. And how much everything comes in plastic.
Mashallah, mashallah, mindfulness, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Thank you for speaking to us this morning and wishing you a beautiful Ramadan.
Thank you. And come to the iftar.
Inshallah, inshallah. I'm going to bring Luton down. All right, my dear, thank you so very much. Have a wicked day.
Thank you.
Sanikum, we're heading off to a break. Join me after the break where I'm joined by another fantastic guest and we're going to be having more conversations around Ramadan goals. Assalamu alaikum.
Inspire FM on 105.1 FM. Inspire FM. Catch a creative vibe on the Urban Kube with Sister Shamiza.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning. It's 10:30, Monday 20th of May and you're listening to Shamiza taking you all the way up to 12 o'clock on Where Else? It's the Urban Kube on Inspire FM. Hope you've had a fantastic weekend and a great start to the week. It's Monday, people, the third Monday into Ramadan. Mashallah, where has the time gone? I'm praying that you're having a beautiful, blessed month and all your du'as and good deeds are being recognized and rewarded, inshallah, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And barakah in everything that you do. Now, on the show this morning, I had the pleasure of speaking to the very fantastic Sarah Mohammed, who talked to us about having a hashtag zero waste free Ramadan with an amazing iftar that's happening, which is all about being green. It's an ethical iftar by the Rabbani project and Rumi's Cave. Now, all across last week and the previous 2 weeks, what I've been seeing is amazing iftaris happening across the country, and it's not stopping. I love the creativity and the energy people are utilising, bringing folk together to break the fast with their communities. And what my next guest is somebody else who's using her social influence to make a difference in many people's lives. She is a very talented photographer. She's also a food blogger who is known by the name of I'm going to ask her to tell her myself, actually. And she is working as a teacher as well. So she's actually taking a time out to speak to me. So I'm really, really excited to find out a little bit more about herself. And also she's part of something called Come Iftar with Me, a dining experience to fundraise for Salam charity. I'm speaking about no other than the very awesome Lili Khan. Assalamu alaikum, Lili.
Shamiza, how are you?
I'm so very well. Even better hearing your voice this morning. Now, it sounds a little bit echoey, so I'm assuming are you in a classroom?
Yes, I am.
It's a revision time for many students at the moment, and I understand you teach GCSEs. So, my goodness, how are your students coping so far?
Oh, they're a nervous wreck right now. They're just really struggling with the stress of the exams. And I think that seems to me the main focus right now in terms of how to get them to overcome it, because they're very talented. They know exactly what they're doing. They're definitely prepared to do the exams. And it's just them, the challenges of stress really that they need to face right now.
Alhamdulillah, and may Allah give them the ease and the stamina to get through this, especially because it's Ramadan too. And are you finding that a lot of your students are actually fasting?
They are fasting. I mean, we've tried to speak to them about it because, they're dedicated, they're going to fast and they're going to do their exams. So mashallah, that's really good for them. But I completely empathize because I didn't need to fast when I was doing my GCSEs and I was struggling then. So
Bless. We had it easy back in the day. Goodness me, we really had it
we
easy.
Actually spoke about, I mean, this might give my age away, but I remember when I was fasting, by the time I came back from school, it was iftar time. So I didn't even feel like I fasted, just felt like I missed school lunches and that was it.
That's it. Mashallah. Now, you're a very busy lady, dedicating your time not just in the teaching profession, but also being a social influencer. Your passion for halal food blogging has got you really recognised, and even so much so that you're combining that to use your influence to support a charity like Salam charity. Now, Come Iftar with Me is a project that you're getting involved with. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So Zidan Qureshi, who is the head of the campaign, he approached me in the beginning of Ramadan and he said that, if I'd like to be involved in this. And it sounded really interesting to me. It's nothing like I've heard of before, this idea of Come Iftar with Me. So I said, okay, tell me a bit more about it. And he said it's this idea that, people host their families anyway, they cook, and, it's a time when everyone comes together for Iftar. And wouldn't it be great if you actually did it where you did this Iftar for them, but then, you ask for a bit of contribution or zakat or sadaqah that can go towards the campaign, which is essentially going to be sending food packages to Pakistan, Yemen, Bangladesh, and Syria. And I thought it was fantastic because at the time when you're eating, you're so grateful for the food you have in front of you, and you can't help but automatically think of all the people who are not guaranteed an iftar after a long day of fasting. And it really hit home with me, and I said I'd definitely like to get involved. And I love hosting and I love feeding my family and friends, and I thought this is a perfect combination of both those things.
Mashallah. Now, you're somebody, you talked about hosting and feeding your family and friends, and which really relates to the work that you do, and that is your passion, and it's called Foodography London, where your passion for photography and food and combining it together. How's that been? How's the journey been?
I started it 5 years ago when I thought, I eat out so much and I like capturing things. I think back then people used to think it's weird when you just, bring out your phone and start taking pictures of food. But I love the fact that, someone has cooked something so passionately and presented it so beautifully. And, that's always intrigued me. So I used to always capture things. And then I thought Instagram seemed like the right platform to be able to, use that base as a hobby and, upload my photos and share stuff. And once I started doing that, I started getting a lot of people approaching me asking, oh, that looks great, but is that halal? Or do you know if you're having steak, like is there a halal steak and so on? So I realized obviously, a lot of Muslim people, there wasn't at the time, 5-6 years ago, a lot of awareness of which restaurants are halal, which isn't. And I thought, I can double this. I can carry on doing what I'm doing as a hobby, but then also really make it niche and think about just halal food and so on. And I started from there, and 5 years later, I'm still doing it.
The food's not running out, it seems.
No. In fact, the market is getting so much bigger because I think even now, when you think about Michelin star restaurants, like a lot of them will cater for halal, and people are to either people aren't aware or they don't ask and so on. And I'm always encouraging people, you should always ask restaurants, because sometimes they can get the meat in 72 hours before, or there are some restaurants where they don't publicize themselves as halal, but they do have halal chicken. And I've taken it upon myself to try and find as many places as possible, and then obviously put them on my blog and my Instagram page so people are aware of it.
Can I ask, whilst you're blogging and taking all these images of food, do you actually eat the food?
I do. I can't do this if I don't love food. In fact, I feel like I'm a bit too greedy because, I might sometimes, I run out of people to go with. I go with my friends, and then I go with my family, and then I go with my husband, and then I want to do it all over again. And they're like, but we ate out so much last week. And I was like, you can't run out of going to all these nice places and so on. But no, I do love food and I do eat a lot. I think the only negative thing about being a food blogger when you love food is sometimes if it gets a little bit cold, like you can't eat it straight away.
Of course, because you're photographing it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to slap a few hands out the way if they've been waiting a while and they want to eat. But I think by now people know these quirks of my blogging, so they understand what they need to do if they're going to be dining with me.
Fantastic, fantastic. Now, what I don't understand is why are all food bloggers like stick thin?
You haven't seen me, so you're making an assumption there. But no, I have to say I am thin in terms of when people see me and they do say that. I'm not really sure. I think I walk it off a lot, probably from my one restaurant to the other, and then back home I'm walking a lot. But no, to be honest, I can't speak for everyone else, but I do know that I'm very active. I work full time as a teacher. I have 2 children.
Mashallah.
I do the food blogging. I've got my fingers in a lot of pies basically. So it's keeping me very busy, and I think that lifestyle means that I'm not putting on weight or, showing how much I'm eating, I guess.
Now, today is actually National Walk to School Day. I don't know if you're aware of that. Now, you've talked about walking, you've talked about your children, and you're in the education sector. Do you think you'll be doing this across this week?
I walk to work. I don't like the idea of using cars. I mean, I'm very fortunate that I'm close enough to work, so I don't have to rely on public transport either. And my daughter, the school that she goes to, they very much reinforce the idea of walking to school and so on, because they have a lot of parents who, drop their kids off and they don't get that time to walk. So I think they take an hour out during the lunchtime and they make them walk a mile or something. And I think that's fantastic, because my daughter will come home and she'll be like, oh, mommy, it was really fun. Like, we got to walk and so on. But a lot of the children got very tired because they said they're not used to walking. And I thought, but this is what the initiative is for, so that children do find somewhere within, the time in school that they are walking and, having that sort of exercise. So I'm very pro walking. I walk everywhere. In fact, people laugh at how fast I walk sometimes because I don't realize I'm always zipping around everywhere. So.
And you know what? You are fast, doing so many wonderful things, mashallah. And I just want to tell everybody that's just tuned in, I was speaking to no other than Lili Khan, who is a full-time teacher, mashallah, as well as a part-time halal food blogger. And your food blog is called, what is it called, Lili? Because I can't pronounce it correctly.
Yeah, it sounds quite long-winded, but actually it's just Foodography London. So it's food, and then it's got ography, as in photography, and then LDN, because I wanted my followers to know that I'm very much born and raised Londoner, so all my food blogging is to do with London. Because I think sometimes when you see a restaurant, you think, oh, this looks amazing, where is it? And then someone's like, it's in Birmingham or Manchester, and you're like, I can't go there. So, this is my way of saying, no, it's just London. You'll definitely be able to find these places if you're a Londoner. Or if you're coming from abroad, I get a lot of followers who say, oh, I'm going to come down to London for a week. Can you suggest some places? I've seen some of the lovely things on your page and so on. So yeah, it's an abbreviation, it's an amalgamation of food and photography. So Foodography London.
And I love that word, foodography. It's a new word for me. And this kind of links very nicely to a topic that we're talking about on today's show, getting our guests and our listeners involved. Do you have a favourite word, people? A word that you use continuously that you don't even know that you're using, but it kind of reflects your personality. Do you have a favourite word as an English teacher?
Oh, God,
Lili?
no pressure. I think to be honest, I like words that sound quite poetic, or it sort of rolls off the tongue. So precocious is one that I really like.
Ooh, nice, precocious.
It's like it's slowly if you refer to them as quite precocious. So yeah, as opposed to petulant, I don't think they like that one.
Oh, precocious and petulant. Oh, I'm loving this. These are nice words. Now, you do sound like an English teacher. Lili, is there any advice you could give to parents listening in, or to students who will be catching the show at the repeat, inshallah, later on today at 8?
Is this to do with exams or food?
Yes.
Exams. I think with exams, the students need to know that although it's a very intensive exam that they're probably sitting longer hours than before in previous years and so on. They need to have full faith that their teachers have done everything to get them to the point where they're ready for the exam. They're not alone in this, and that they've got this. They know all the content. It's just a case of breaking it down, taking it easy, and just revising, sort of short and snappy. So just keeping things fresh in your mind, but not overloading themselves with extra work by now, and definitely not stressing out, because that's going to sort of detract from all the good stuff that they already know, basically.
Mashallah, mashallah. And great advice from Lili Khan, who is a teacher of English, mashallah, on the show this morning. Now, Lili, coming back to food, what's your perfect iftari, and what can we expect from the Come Iftari With Me dining experience that you're fundraising for Salam charity? How can we connect?
My personal is I'm from Bengali. I'm Bengali descent, so we have to have kisari, or I think have some people pronounce khichdi. I think it's the perfect staple diet, and I feel like with iftar sometimes, you know, it can be quite extravagant, and you know, we try and consume basically our body weight because we've not eaten all day. So I try and keep things quite sort of humble and sort of just things that are quite good for the body. So like khichdi, and then like we have like fruit and so on. But again, because we love our fried food, so somehow that just seems to come in, the samosas and the
somewhere
pakoras,
sneaks in.
Yeah, I think it's just laid out on the table, so you don't feel like so you're catering to everyone, but then you end up helping yourself, don't you? So that's my sort of normal staple diet. But I think with my family coming, I'm going to do it for them. They love the Turkish food, they love meat, they're all carnivores, so I'm going to try and do cold and hot mezes and sort of Turkish food in terms of lots very meat based and rice and everything. So yeah.
Wow. And what can we expect the Come Iftar with Me dining experience fundraising for Salam charity?
Well, we had an event on Saturday this weekend, and this is where all the fundraisers were able to finally meet, because we'd all been sort of conversing over WhatsApp as a group and, encouraging each other in terms of how we can raise more money, and then the upcoming event for the Iftari and so on. So it was really nice where it was a community feel where we all got together and we got to share all our great experiences and so on, but also the event itself, because it was an Iftari. I've been to so many different sort of food events, and it's usually you go to a restaurant, you eat, you meet and greet, and then you go home. And I felt like this one was very memorable because we all got together, all the bloggers, we made the food together, we prayed together, we sat together in this beautiful tent in St. Ethelburgers.
I saw the picture. It's beautiful.
Did you see it? Yes. In
really
fact,
nice.
I think all my pictures have expired from the Insta story, so what I'll do is I'll put it up on the highlights if anyone wants to follow what happened on the event. St. Ethelburgers is a church, but in the back they've got this beautiful garden and a tent for a multi-faith as a multi-faith venue, and I thought that in itself was quite a nice idea. So we all sat inside the tent, and we all ate together and so on, and then we talked about how much we've raised, but also how we can continue pushing the fundraising further, because we haven't finished yet. We've just met halfway to talk about what we can do, but we were really proud to say that we've raised over £4,500, and this is just a handful of bloggers that have just been promoting this and sending the fundraising page everywhere, and since the event, because it was live streamed on I think Muslim Mama's page on Facebook as well, we've raised an additional £1,000. So I think right now
I saw that.
Yeah,
I follow the page.
Oh, fantastic. So so I think for us right now it's just to keep raising as much awareness as possible, and then people have it in their hearts to donate, then the link is also in my bio and also the Salam charity page, then please give as much as you can. Another fantastic thing I liked about the event was Zidan brought down all the food that is given as, when we talk about the food packages, I think people are very generous when they donate, but sometimes they're not fully aware of what they're donating to or where it's going. So like I said, it goes to Yemen, Syria, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and so on. But then the food package, for £30, you can feed a whole family for a month. And it's like everything from rice, tinned goods, essentials, vegetables, and so on. So you're actually doing a lot of good in terms of how much you're giving with that money. So.
Mashallah, sounds absolutely amazing. Good luck with the Come Iftar with Me dining experience that you're fundraising for Salam charity. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you, Lili. I know you're on a bit of a break because you're a teacher and you need to get back to class. And I look forward to following you on your Insta page. And do you want to just tell listeners what the Insta page is again?
Sure, it's Foodography London. So it's FOODOGRAPHY and then LDN.
Fantastic. Have a wonderful Ramadan and good luck to all your students, and inshallah may they do exceptionally well in their exams.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. That was the wonderful Lili Khan talking to us about revision tips for students and the work that she's doing as part of a food blogger with Come Iftar with Me, the dining experience and fundraise for Salam charity. Now, we've been talking about open iftars, mashallah, but we had one that happened with Inspire FM on Friday. And I have Brother Tariq in the studio right now to tell me exactly what that had happened. But before then, we're going to go to an advert.
Hafsa, Mummy's taking us Inspire Eid. Where? The Eid Festival at Lucy Park. I'm so excited. Me too. I couldn't wait to go on all the rides. And I performing at the kids' talent contest. There's also a human table football, like a really big football table for humans. And don't forget the bazaar Mum wants to go and the different food we're going to have. Mum also said all the rides and activities are £1, so we can have as much fun as we like.
This sounds like the best Eid event ever. When is it?
On the 4th and 5th of June from 12 to 8 p.m. at Lucy Park.
I need to tell all my friends so we can have the biggest and best Eid ever.
Yes, you heard it, folks. We have a very special event which is happening. It's the Inspire FM Eid event, and those children are absolutely fantastic. I'm so excited to go. Brother Tariq is in the studio right now. Brother Tariq, the Inspire FM Eid event, why should we be going to it?
Assalamu alaikum listeners, yes indeed, it's an absolutely amazing event coming up, the Inspire FM Eid, the first time we're actually doing something of this scale. We have done, of course, Eid festivals many a times previously at the, of course, Dunstable Downs. This time we've brought it more closer to home due to, of course, a popular demand from a lot of the listeners saying they need something in Luton. And of course, the key focus of this, and to be honest, one of the main drivers of was to make Eid affordable for everybody in Luton, inshallah. So every single person, regardless of what your income is, what your family size is, everybody should be able to celebrate Eid. And this is exactly why we're going to have every single funfair ride for £1.
Wow, you heard it there, people. Can this be really true? £1 a ride? When was the last time we had rides for £1?
Yep, exactly. £1 a ride. And not only that, we're very fortunate in the sense as we've got a kids corner which we're going to have loads of small little scooters and bikes and a number of, about at least 10, 12 different activities which are all going to be completely free. So you can literally have a big massive kids zone where kids can just chill out, relax, play for hours on end, and at the same time in that same location we'll hopefully have a nice little cafe area as well, so the mums and dads can just literally sit there, relax, have a nice cup of tea while the kids play around completely for free. The tea won't be for free, by the way, but of course you're more than welcome to bring your own cup of tea if you want, but of course it will be a situation where apart from that we will also have a number of other activities going on which again will be completely free. We've actually got a number of tabletop games and stuff which have been donated to us from a gentleman in St. Albans who actually makes this as a hobby, and due to hearing of the cause and everything that we're doing, he's decided to donate them to us for free. So anything that we're getting for free, anything that we're getting at quite reduced, we're hopefully passing those savings onto our community, onto our listeners, Mashallah, and trying to give them a very, very affordable Eid, inshallah.
And that's what it's about, making sure that everybody gets to experience and appreciate Eid equally. And this is wonderful. And I've been asking listeners and guests today, have you got a favourite word? Now, it seems to be you seem to have had a favourite word in just speaking to me right now, Brother Tara. What do you think that word must have been?
Eid? I don't know.
Free. You keep saying free.
That's mashallah.
Your favourite word is free, and that's our favourite word right now, folks. Inspire FM's Eid event is definitely an affordable event for all family. Now, I have a large family, mashallah, and sometimes taking them out to some of the festivals has been quite tricky and not very affordable. So this takes the pressure off families, parents especially, and it kind of, because there will be families that kind of struggle across Eid, and you know what, that's why I think this is a wonderful event. And have you taken that into consideration, Brother Tariq? Is that why this event is £1
most
per
definitely
ride?
Most definitely. That was the not only is the reason, that's the reason why the rides are £1 a ride. It's the only reason why the event is actually happening. There was no reason whatsoever for Inspire FM to actually arrange an event such as this, due to the fact that obviously if other events are taking place, and again there's no reason for Inspire FM to come in and arrange another one just for the sake of arranging it. It was purely based upon community feedback, to the sense that, as you have said, alhamdulillah, there's many families out there, there's many people out there who do have large families, and sometimes there's sisters out there especially who maybe single sisters looking after large families, and they're in a situation where unfortunately they will have to make a choice on the day of Eid. Where do they take their children to celebrate the day of Eid if they're in a position where they can't afford to do so? And Sister Shumaiza, you'll be very sad to hear there's actually families out there who would prefer to send their children to school on the day of Eid, because they're thinking, well, they're probably going to have more fun in school rather than, of course, at home home. And that's a very sad state to be in. Again, being part of this community and having heard these kind of things, I think it was only right for Inspire FM to step up and say we will try our best to do something about it. And this is where we need the support of the community to come on board, help us in promoting this, come down and make this event a success, inshallah ta'ala, and also get involved from a volunteer's perspective. Every single person on that day will be a complete volunteer in helping us do this, and the only way we can actually do these things where the rides are £1 each and the majority of the activities will have gifts, everything are completely free, is due to the whole event being done by volunteers, and we really do need your help and support on this.
Mashallah, it sounds absolutely amazing with great intentions, and when anything has great intentions, there's always a success, there's always barakah in it. Now, brother, that's not the only event that we're looking forward to, but something happened on Friday. It was the big open iftar. Tell us how that was.
Yep, alhamdulillah, we had the big iftar on Friday. Absolutely amazing. Of course, weather-wise, to be honest, we live in the UK and we can't always, of course, be sure of what the weather is going to be like. And unfortunately, we had a beautiful week of weather all week, and come Friday, it was a little damp, raining near enough throughout. But alhamdulillah, as soon as we managed to set up just after 6 o'clock and the event opened up at 7, the skies cleared up beautifully. It was a really nice evening, mashallah. And there was a number of people trickling in. Numbers wise, to be honest, I'm not 100% sure. I'm definitely sure there was over 1,000 people there. We had actually prepared food for 1,500 and there wasn't any food left at the end.
Oh wow, I saw lots of images of people across the town.
Exactly.
With you gave boxes away to take away as well. Can I ask, was it actually zero waste?
What do you mean zero waste?
He's not been listening to the show, has he? He's not listened at all. We'll have this discussion after.
Inshallah.
Zero waste. Now, brother Tariq, the Inspire FM Eid event, when is it happening? What day will it be? Where's the venue?
Inspire Eid is taking place at Inspire Eid is going to be taking place at Lucy Park, inshallah ta'ala. Lucy Park, which is just off Lee Grave High Street, just behind the hospital. The event is going to be on the day of Eid and the next day. This is in preparation. Again, thinking of our community, we may well have the unfortunate situation where we may have Eid split over 2 days. So we are hopefully, inshallah ta'ala, catering for both of those situations where if Eid is split, this will be not if Eid is split, this will definitely still be a 2-day event catering for our community on the day of Eid, potentially the 4th of June or of course the 5th of June, and the next day will be a 2-day event at Lucy Park from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. and make sure you are there.
Inshallah, make sure.
And Sister Shmaiza, make sure you are there.
I will do my very, very best.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Folks, we're heading off to a break, and after the break I'm going to be joined by another fantastic guest on the show who's going to be talking to us about 11 years of festival creating. It's the Eid Festival in Milton Keynes, and I'm joined by no other than Anouar Kassim straight after the break, inshallah. So don't go away. Come back and catch more creative conversations on the Urban Kube with myself, Shemaiza, and great guests. Assalamu alaikum.
We are young.
We are powerful.
We are female. We are Muslims.
We are Sister Speak, destroying the stereotype of stigmatized Muslim women.
Join us live every Tuesday from 6 p.m, where we discuss our opinions on current events and issues we feel are important and relevant.
So tune in on 105.1 FM or Facebook Live, and catch our podcast on iTunes or Spotify.
Catch a creative vibe on the Urban Kube with Sister Shemaiza.
Good morning and assalamu alaikum. 11 o'clock, Monday, 20th of May, and you're listening to the Urban Kube with me, Shemaiza, taking you all the way up to 12 o'clock. It's the final hour of the show this morning, and what a great show it's been so far. I've had the pleasure of speaking to the very fantastic teacher, Lili Khan, who's also a blogger, a food blogger, and she blogs around halal food across London, mashallah, and her work is also now inspiring inspiring her to get involved and use her social influence to help fundraise with a project called Come Iftar with Me. It's a dining experience to fundraise for Salam charity. Now, we also got to hear from Lili about revision techniques and tips for a lot of the youngsters that are now sitting their GCSE exams, and especially something for parents as well. Now, you can catch the repeat of this conversation on at 8 p.m. on Inspire FM this evening. Now, we're also iTunes and we're Spotify as well, and the conversation is also running on the Facebook page this morning. Now, on the show, we're also asking you guys, what's your favourite word? What is your favourite word? Now, Lili told me it was opulent was one of her favourite words. Do you have a favourite word? Now, earlier on the show, I spoke to the very fabulous Sarah Mohammed. Now, Sarah Mohammed, supports the work of Rabbani Project, and she is a community activist who is working to encourage and make sure that there are spaces, safe spaces for young Muslim women to engage, and spaces that help to empower them. And one space that she's been talking about was the Open Iftar, which was being held or is being held at Rumi's Cave, which is in conjunction with the Rabbani Project. And this iftar, which is happening, is the purpose of it is to make us a little bit more green, and be conscientious about not wasting plastic and zero waste as well, which seems to be a growing trend. Alhamdulillah. I hope it doesn't remain a trend. I do hope it is a progressive lifestyle that we're able to maintain continuously beyond Ramadan, inshallah. So this is the Green Iftar, which is an ethical iftar organised by the Rabbani Project with Rumi's Cave. This is what the wonderful Sarah was talking to us earlier on. And we asked her favourite word, and it was wicked and mad. They're her favourite words. It's also your opportunity to tell me what your favourite word is as well. And to get involved with any of the conversations on this morning's show, then you need to contact us on 07779 481 WhatsApp me your favourite word. And we're also asking your Ramadan goals. What are your Ramadan goals? What have you been able to achieve? Sarah spoke about mindfulness. She wanted to embrace more mindfulness and be more conscientious about her surroundings, mashallah. And also the conversation doesn't stop there, because I'm joined by another fantastic guest, a guest whose voice you're actually quite familiar with, because every Ramadan I have the pleasure of speaking to this very delightful brother who's also very mindful about the way he is in his local community by embracing everybody and getting them involved, but especially in community activism, but more so in this fantastic festival that he is the founder of, which he has been running for not 1 but 11 years, which has gone on to achieve an award for volunteering, because mashallah he's received the Queen's Golden Jubilee Award for outstanding voluntary service by groups in the community. Mashallah. Who am I talking about? It's no other than the founder and director Anouar Kassim of the Islamic Arts and Heritage and Culture organisation. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Anouar.
Welcome, Salam, Shamisa. First of all, Ramadan Kareem to all of you, all your viewers as well. And thank you very much for your kind introduction.
Always, brother. You do wonderful work, and mashallah, it should be noted and celebrated. I know you're a humble soul, and this is not your style, but alhamdulillah, you know, the work that you've been doing. 11 years. The festival has been running for 11 years. So congratulations on that. Now, what can we expect at the festival, brother?
Well, you know, Ramadan is a very spiritual month. You know, like Muharram is 1 year to another, and many celebrate it. I personally look from hearing from your radio show and previous people who've taken part, Ramadan to Ramadan, where we are and what we've achieved. And you've done excellent, you know, signposting us, all your views or your guests in the right direction. This year, no doubt, it's exciting new program. We've got artists coming from Saudi Arabia, and they're doing installation. We've got 2 installations making verses of Quran alive.
Oh, wow.
One is called Geographical Child's Play. Subhanallah, we shouldn't forget young people. Ramadan is about community. And here it is, we've created a Child's Play installation. The other one is called Inevitable Fringe. And it is about communities coming together through creativity and connection. And our theme for this year has been creativity and connections. And looking through that, what is it that we link creativity through diverse community within the Muslim society, not Milton Keynes, Buckinghamshire, Bedfordshire, great people in Luton that I have relationships, and your radio station itself. And it is about the one thing, it is us as a community. We go through a lot of challenges, and this installation reflected to the verse of Quran, it is very stimulating. And this Saudi artists who have flown, they are in the UK producing this, and we are the first place to launch. And then from there it will be at British Museum.
Wow, from the festival to the British Museum. What a jump!
It is. And the Ramadan, what teaches us? Sabr. And it is about 11 years of patience. Just, educating our society, not Muslim but non-Muslim, about the beauty that has in Islam, particular Islamic arts, heritage and culture. It is our DNA, and we need to celebrate more of it, particularly as we go through Brexit.
MashaAllah. So you are really not just thinking about the now, but you're also thinking about the future, MashaAllah, through this creativity. Now, what always stands out to me, Brother Anouar, is the fact that, the people that you get involved and engaged, there are artists I've never heard of, and I always find out about them coming through your projects. Where do you get the time and energy, and how do you find out about this creativity? Because it never stops. Every year it's always unique.
It is, and that's what, because you may call it passion or drive, but it is one thing that I've learned that, there are great things, spirituality in our faith. And we sometimes, and it's nobody's fault, we miss track of what we are about. And looking back of great hadiths, and one of that captures me a lot, and it was Peter Sanders. He and Humaira Khan, who've been on your show, and they themselves have been the backbone of this organization and guiding me in many, and said, look at one hadith, says, Allah loves beauty in everything. In Allah yuhibbul jamila jamal. Just translate this in your work, in artistically creativity, because that's Allah's names are all beautiful. And that drives me like mad.
Wow. And it hasn't stopped you at all, mashallah, so much so that you've been recognised not just locally in your town of Milton Keynes, but nationally as well, winning the Queen's Golden Jubilee Award and also an MBE. What has life been like since, Brother Anouar?
Well, alhamdulillah, all I can say, but may I just say the Queen's Award is a reflective of all the volunteers, Muslims and non-Muslim, have been taking part in this festival. And they get opportunity that to learn about us as a community, but they're also learning work replacement through this festival. So we're putting something back into the community. We're putting back into education.
And this is the key thing, isn't it? It's about creating legacy. It's about regenerating and providing opportunities for a community. Volunteering, how important is it for organisations like yourself to provide platforms for volunteering?
It is, Shami, it is so big. Because, when we do iftar, we volunteers. When people are dying, we volunteers to carry the janazah, for the mahroom. When, people are ill, we volunteer to create some little food and dish to help the neighbors. It is part of our DNA, but it's just theology, the way it's represented, or it's translated, demonstrated by our imams and sheikhs. Sometimes they forget, living in UK, in Britain, it needs to have another aspect to it so people can buy into it. Education, schools then buy into it. It's huge important about volunteering. the festival wouldn't have survived without volunteers for many, many years. And as I'm a governor in two schools like yourself, it is the youth, they're looking for such opportunity to get to learn about diversity and culture. And we play a huge role in Milton Keynes, but also having a relationship with our neighboring towns and cities like yourself, Luton and Bedford, Birmingham. So giving opportunity, they're learning skills. And it also helps mental health and many aspects that many young people are going through at this present time.
And it's extremely important that these platforms are made available because there is an increase of mental health, unfortunately, it's cross-generational. So how can people get in contact with you, Brother Anouar? How can are you looking for volunteers?
Yes, we are looking for it. We have a training scheme. They will be trained, and if they're coming from Luton, we were quite happy to, if they have financial problem, we'll compensate the bus travel or the petrol for them. It is they just have to go to our website. There's the details there, email address, all there, and get involved. Our website is www.mkic.org, and you get a lot of information there.
Fantastic. And you celebrated your 10th anniversary last year. What was that feeling like? Did you ever expect to have 10 years of this work continuing?
No, and the thing was, the cementing of the festival was the Queen's representatives were there incognito, and I was rushed in a corner and said, there is within half an hour I was told they are here and they want to see you. Of course, I was unprepared. I didn't have a suit. I was just very, very casual, and he was dressed. Lord Lieutenant appeared with a letter from the Queen and saying that it was a double whammy. But this was shared by all the audiences and the volunteers together. And we are the only BME art organization in the United Kingdom who have received that award and recognition of quality.
Wow. And you say quality, and that is definitely something that you will definitely find at the Milton Keynes Art in the Park Eid Festival, which is by Willen Lake. It's definitely full of quality, full of passion, and community engagement. It's so wonderful to see how diverse this event is. Very, very open to across all communities, not just Milton Keynes, but the wider counties as well. Now, Brother Anouar, tell us, where is the location? You tell me yourself.
Well, the location, if you're coming from M1, and if you're traveling, as you enter Junction 14, basically it's only a 15-minute car drive on Charles Way, and as you enter Milton Keynes, Willen Lake is on your right-hand side.
It's
a
beautiful
area. It is beautiful, and there is last year's video available on our website, and you can have a look at it. We have a great parade arranged for our audiences. Is participated by disabled people, by various community, from the Sikh community, and also this year we are reflecting digitally. We've got robots taking part in the parade.
You're really going with the times, aren't you? We've got robots.
It is, and I'll tell you who inspired me about this. Will Smith's I, Robot movie. He inspired me, and it scares me positively, but also, look, creativity and connection. The hospital uses digital work. So there's a lot of digital work this year's festival that people will experience via VR exhibition.
Wow, and it always is an experience going to this festival. Now, I want to ask you, when are the dates for this festival?
It is, thank you. It's Saturday the 29th of June and Sunday 30th of June. Saturday is 1 till 8. Why? Because after 6 o'clock we've got a concert. We have created a multicultural youth orchestra with a choir fusion of Syrian community.
Wonderful. So the Syrian community are given a platform to showcase at this event. Now, what's really interesting about your festival is the fact is it never clashes with any other Eid festival, because you take it not on when Eid is, slightly down the calendar. Is that done deliberately so that gives people an opportunity to experience their own festivals in their own communities?
Well, it is, in one sense, it is true. And the other thing is what the feedback I've received in Milton Keynes and from our audience survey, which we have to do, and it is supported by some element internationally through Art Council, and they want evaluation strong. And what we've learned, it is that after Ramadan, everyone is tired. People are exhausted. They need break. They need to recoup. And also, I respect other festivals, so I get in touch with them, have a conversation, and ask them that, would you share a date so we don't conflict, but we complement each other?
Yeah.
And it is of that respect that I held with everyone who have festival around the corner. So our audiences, people generally who can taste different variety, quality, and many aspects of different flavors in the festival, because it reflects their personalities and the aims and objective of various organizations.
Now, I like the way that you've mentioned it reflects their personalities, and there's loads of personality going on at your festival, mashallah. Now, one thing I need to ask you, we are at Inspire FM. There's going to be an Inspire FM Eid Festival. The key thing for us is affordability. Is your festival as affordable?
It is. Number one, it is what we call a free entry.
Okay.
Number one. And all the stall holders and everything, they don't get charged. People are a musician on the stage, everything. But we're mindful that, each family has 2 children, 3 children. And what we've done this year, we've got great art workshops. We've got a great person from your lovely city, Abu Yahya. He's coming to perform.
Wonderful.
The art, calligraphy, and many aspects. Then there is a Iranian artist, there's a Turkish artist, and all the people who attend, they just have to purchase a £2 art band, and they can have all the experience of various art workshop.
Fantastic. So that's a brilliant initiative.
It is. So a child can just pay £2 art band, and he has a choice of any time during the festival to go and test and collect a quality art piece at various locations. So the parents are not out of the pocket. They can enjoy themselves, and it's not a pressure on them.
Now, one thing that's always stood out from your festival is this passion, but also inclusivity. Now, you've always made sure that the disabled community is greatly involved, and also the refugee community and the homeless community. Now, tell us, how are you catering for these communities this year?
Well, first of all, number one, all the programs are reflected if they're able to attend. Participatory programs, we always are checking how would it affect if somebody was disabled. Due to my own condition, arthritis, and I have a disability with that, I put myself first in that. Am I able to hold things? For example, my wife bends me to come to the kitchen. And why? Because when I do the wash-up, I break plates.
Oh dear.
Because I can't hold it.
Okay.
So, I'm bent off doing washing up. So things like this, people are holding pens, pencil, or VR equipment this year. We want to make sure that if I'm finding difficulty, I'm sure other people are. So there are also national disabled bodies who are part of our advisory board. So we engage with them, but also locally there are community groups, voluntary disabled groups. We engage with them and ask them, and they're very much involved in guiding us, planning this festival so it's user-friendly for everyone.
Fantastic. And I like that word, user-friendly. That's what we want to make it, because that's how you become more inclusive and cohesive as a society that is, mashallah, growing with and is so diverse. Now, on today's show, we're also asking our listeners, as well as our guests, Brother Anouar, about their favourite word. Do you have a favourite word that you use often, or something that you've made up, or a word that kind of irritates maybe your wife because you say it too often?
Oh dear, Shamas, you need to have to punch somebody beneath the belt. A favorite word. It depends on the conversation that you're having on the occasion, and does it have to be an Islamic word, or I personally feel that to have a meaningful word, somebody that was caring. A word caring and passionate needs to be demonstrated.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So you would the word passion? I think passion is a word that you use a lot. So I've heard you use that quite a lot. So that
passion.
That clearly demonstrates you.
Passion creates hope. When you create hope, you give an opportunity for a person to be valued. And this reflects very much in the program that we started last year, Spoken Word and Cafe Night, with the great young lady, Rukaya, and many other people have been through this Cafe Night. And they see that if without passion and hope, your people are not valued. People don't see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. So everyone have to, it's not that you are born with passion. Passion comes through that's something you enjoy, something that you feel it personally, and you believe in something strongly. And that's where passion comes out of it.
MashaAllah. Now, passion also comes out across Ramadan, where we are really taking note of being mindful and spiritually, but also our actions as well. So what have your Ramadan goals been, Brother Anouar?
Well, it's always hard to pinpoint a particular goal, but I would say sharing with beauty. Mm-hmm. Whatever you share it in a humanity with beauty, with a smile, no matter how much the adversity falls upon you, because these are testing time. You'll overcome them. The rewards are 10 times more.
MashaAllah. Beautiful wisdom there. Now, folks, if you've just tuned in, you're listening to the Urban Kube with me, Shamiza. It is 11:23, Monday, 20th of May, and I'm joined by the founder and director of the multi-award-winning Islamic Arts and Heritage and Culture organisation based in Milton Keynes. It's called MKayak, and Anouar Kassim is my guest on the show this morning over the phone, and he's been talking to us about a fantastic festival that he's been doing for the last 11 years, and he's inviting listeners across Luton, Peterborough and Sheffield this morning to make their way to Milton Keynes on the 29th and 30th of June to attend this really fantastic, entertaining and inspiring event that has been noted by not just the local community but also the Queen as well, as he's received the Queen's Jubilee Award for Outstanding Voluntary Service in the community, mashallah, and an MBE for the amazing work he has done. Now, this event is promising some really exciting artists all the way from Saudi Arabia, where they're going to be showcasing their work, but also this work that's going to be showcased exclusively at the festival will then go all the way to the British Museum. How awesome is that? How fantastic. Brother Anouar, we are heading off to the break. How can people get in contact with you regarding this festival?
Please log in at our Facebook. We've got MKISC Facebook. It's an open page, leave message, and we have www.mkisc.org website, a lot of information, contact details. Anytime, feel free, and my mobile phone is available over there, which is 0798 122 3541. I'll always make a time to hear people's voice.
Mashallah, and that's a wonderful thing to end this conversation with, taking time to speak to people and listening to them. Thank you so very much, brother Anouar. It's been an absolute pleasure listening to you this morning.
Thank you. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Very welcome. Ramadan Mubarak, brother. That was the very fantastic Anouar, and I'm heading off to a break. After the break, we're going to be getting some live poetry. Assalamu alaikum.
You're listening to an Inspire FM podcast, making available our popular programs from our daily broadcast on Inspire FM.
Catch a creative vibe on the Urban Kube with Sister Shamiza.
Good morning, and good morning. Assalamu alaikum. Yes, I always say that 3 times. That's just to wake me up. Wake me up. I hope it's woken you up as well. Mashallah. It is 11:30, Monday, 20th of May, and you're listening to me, Shamiza, taking it all the way in the final half an hour of the Urban Kube show. It's gone by so quickly. I've had the pleasure of not one, but 4 guests, I think, this morning, talking to us about the amazing projects that they're involved in, making us more ethical, more mindful, more engaged with our communities, and the conversations does not stop there. I have the absolute pleasure of speaking to another remarkable guest on the phone this morning who's going to be performing live poetry on the show, inshallah. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. Now, the show you're listening to is the Urban Kube. We are on Facebook Live. However, because the guests are all over the phone this morning, we've just got the banner up. But do feel free to join in with any of the conversations by adding comments on the comments section. On today's show, we are asking you, what's your favourite word, people? What word do you continuously use that you don't realise you're doing, or you've actually made up yourself? We've been told by our guests this morning that mad and wicked was Sarah's favourite word. Opulent was guest Lili Khan's favourite word. Passion and hope was hopeful was Brother Anouar's favourite word. Brother Tariq was using free. He was continuously using the free word. Maybe because we've got an Inspire FM free festival. Well, it's not actually fully free, but lots of activities are free. £1 per ride. It's the Eid Festival organised by Inspire FM. I absolutely love the advert. It's absolutely fantabulous. There you have it. That's my favourite word. Fantabulous and sparkly. I use it all the time. We're also asking our guests their Ramadan goals as well this morning. Feel free to tell me what your Ramadan goal has been so far. Sister Sarah Mohammed from the Rabbani project talked about mindfulness is her Ramadan goal. And I will continue asking this question across Ramadan. It is the 3rd Monday of Ramadan, mashallah, that I'm having the pleasure of presenting these special shows with you, and may I continue to do so. So, folks, back to the show. You're listening to the Urban Kube. It's repeated 8 p.m. this evening, so if you've missed any of the conversations, then don't worry, you can still catch up. We're also iTunes and Spotify, and we're also Facebook Live this morning too as well. Now, another fantastic guest who doesn't shy away from words. She is a lyricist, spoken word artist who I'm having the great pleasure of joining me this morning over the phone. She is an extraordinarily talented young lady who is not just somebody who's passionate about social political issues, but she uses those as a platform to engage with her passion for spoken poetry. She's not just a live spoken word performer, but she's also an academic studying a PhD. She's also written a book called Mesopotamian. I can't even say that word. She's going to have to help me. Maverick. Let me try that again. Mesopotamian Mesopotamian Maverick. That's a new word in my repertoire of words. So I'm going to really look forward to asking what that is. Her name is Elena Kafrtkarimi. I bet I've got a surname wrong as well. Goodness me, what am I doing this morning? And she is a spoken word poet that is joining me this morning. She has a stage name which she's going to tell us herself. I have the absolute pleasure of inviting Elena on the Urban Kube this morning. Assalamu alaikum, Elena.
Alaikum salam. It's lovely to hear from you.
It's an absolute pleasure having you joining me this morning. Can I apologise? I know we're talking about favourite words. I've learnt a new word from reading your bio. How do I say the title of your book?
Well, first of all, I have to say, you did an amazing job trying to say my surname because nobody can, not even my own family. So I really give you all the credit.
Oh, goodness me. You're too kind. You know what? You're so sparkly and too kind for me this morning. Thank you for saving me. But this is my thing, you see. I will openly admit there are words I cannot pronounce. I try my very, very best. So listeners who are familiar with the show will know my weakness. But my darling, I'm going to ask you, tell me how to pronounce your name correctly, your surname.
Sure, yeah. It's Elena Kafrtkarimi, so you're not far off at all, honestly.
Kafrtkarimi, beautiful name. Now, is there a bit of Syrian Persian in there somewhere?
Yes. I'm half Iranian, I'm half Syrian, so the Syrian side comes from my dad, and I blame him for the surname, to be honest with you.
Bless you. What's the most unusual pronunciation of your surname? What have you heard it pronounced as?
Well, to be honest, that's why I keep saying I give a lot of credit to you, because a lot of people say Kafir and then they just mumble the rest, and I'm just like, okay, that's absolutely fine. Just call me Elena K, it's fine.
Oh, bless you. But you don't use this surname as your stage name. And tell us your stage name as a performer.
Yeah, so much easier, Sister Els, and my handle on Instagram is Sister El Syria, so it's so much more easier.
So much more easier, but mashallah, but you are no ordinary Sister Els. You're an academic, an extraordinary academic, mashallah, doing a PhD in the Department of Psychology, because I did a bit of research, and also an author with a extraordinary title. You're going to have to help me there as well. How do I pronounce that word?
The side note is Mesopotamian Maverick. So the origin comes obviously from Mesopotamia, yes. And Maverick obviously meaning rebel. So it's kind of like, I'm a Mesopotamian rebel.
In a nutshell, my darling. Now, this has history associated with it because I can't even say it, Mesopotamian.
Yeah, I get Mesopotamian.
Yeah, that word has a Middle Eastern connection.
Absolutely, yeah. It dates back to kind of our origins and when we were all united as one ummah, and we were known as Mesopotamia. So absolutely right. It's got a lot of history, and I talk a lot about the politics, but I try and kind of make the information concise and in a way that can speak to the youth as well.
Yes.
So I want it to be relatable, yeah.
And relatability is a very important thing at the moment, because when we think of academics, we think of language that just goes over our head, the theories and the formulas and the ideas. However, but you're somebody that is very young and vibrant. You seem too young to be doing a PhD, mashallah. But you're very youthful in your energy, but you have a language that really does connect. And your writing is a celebration of your history, but also it's taking control of the narrative, which is socially and political. Am I correct in saying that?
Absolutely, yes. I think that there's a lot of amazing people out there who are doing things that I've been doing for the last 5-6 years, and I'm really proud of them. But I just think that especially being a female kind of Muslim in the community, obviously I see there's a lot of rising talented stars, but I think we need kind of more women involved in this campaign and talking about it, because I feel that
women have a lot to say as well. And I just think it's very important to be relatable and reach out to the youth, because I believe that, with this age with new technology, I think a lot of people are kind of drowning in social media and the likes and things like that. So it's just reminding them that, you do have a voice and, you are important. You don't need likes to be kind of noticed.
And this is the thing, it's down to a like that kind of measures somebody's value. And that measure, if they don't receive the like, really does impact their self-confidence, which is really quite concerning. But you're trying to kind of turn that around, mashallah, in the work that you're doing. And how has that journey been in the last 5 years, being a female lyricist, spoken word artist?
To be honest with you, it's been a very hard journey, because obviously it was a very male-dominated field when I kind of started off, and poetical word is kind of like the child of rap and poetry. So obviously it's a new field, and a lot of people, they don't take you seriously. And I've been through my fair share of being made fun of and not being listened to. But I really feel like if anyone is pursuing it, that they shouldn't stop. They have a voice, and they should continue to speak about these things, because it's important. And a lot of people think that what's poems going to do? What's that? It's about raising awareness. It's a new way of kind of getting information out to the public, but that can allow people to engage with you. Yeah.
And it's the art of words, storytelling, is part of our history, and Ramadan is the perfect example of that. When the Quran was delivered to the Prophet Muhammad, the verses, and those verses, mashallah, have been embodied on people's hearts by revising and memorizing the verses and handing those verses through generation to generation so concisely. So the power of words is nothing new to the Muslim community, and it should be embraced because it's the most powerful tool. But you're the expert, because mashallah, not just performing on these amazing platforms, you're also taking your words into academic studies as a PhD student.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that. What made you want to do that? Because I also need to point out to folks, she her BA and her MSc, I think it was, you gained first honours in. So you're a smart cookie.
Well, when people actually meet me, they doubt that, but I'm really honoured that you think that way. I mean, it's been a journey, to be honest with you, because my PhD is focusing on kind of mental health, schizophrenia, like the neuroscience behind it.
Wow.
But it also you have to know about the history, about stuff for Allah. Like, a lot of people thought that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a madman. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it just triggered me to think that there's more to this. There's a reason why certain people are blessed with these type of diseases. And the reason I say blessed is, like, if we take Muhammad Ali, the boxer, he never ever in his interviews saw himself as somebody who's ill or mentally ill or anything was wrong with him. He said it was a blessing rather than a curse. So I'm trying to take the stigma away from this label of schizophrenia, because there's so many levels to it.
Okay. And I mean, schizophrenia, it does seem to be the hardest level of mental health, which is stigmatized and and people fear of it. There's a fear element surrounding it, because wow, so the fact that you're actually exploring this area is really quite intriguing. Now, are you in your first year of studies?
Yes, technically I am. I had to take a year out due to working and just focusing on the book and things like that. But I'm in my first year.
And how have you been able to manage student life, being an author, an academic, and a performer?
Oh, you need to buy a really good diary for that, because it's really difficult, and it's quite spontaneous when certain charities, they want you to speak, and it's an honor, honestly. But at the same time,
I have a bad habit of not being able to say no, so it kind of does pile up.
Yeah, and I think that's a skill we all need to have, because I think it's your own mental health you need to kind of look after too. Even though you sound like somebody that is willing to give, but you know what, sometimes you need to step back. So what advice would you give to somebody listening in who is very similar to yourself, is constantly wanting to give more than they can?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, from my years of experience, I've just learned always prioritize what is most important in your life and what's going to give you that happiness. You know, at the end of the day, all these material things, you know, we're not going to take it to the grave. So the main thing is that we have to live with our own soul and own conscience, and that's why I started to do the poetry, because it's you know, I don't just talk about political situations, I talk about the struggle of staying on the deen as well. And I think a lot of people, there's a lot of success stories and it's beautiful to hear, but we need more stories of people who are actually Muslim or they've converted but they're still struggling, you know, because we are human at the end of the day, so we do struggle.
We are human, we are not angels, and this is where I think I have admiration for your work, because there's a rawness and a realness, and there's an honest integrity in the way you deliver what you're saying, because it's coming from your heart, it's coming from your experience. And many of us do struggle, and we try and strive for perfection, but it's just not going to happen. So it's good to hear that there is people who are willing to be open to say what their struggles are. And it's so relatable. You don't understand, Elena, it's so relatable. But mashallah, you've mentioned that your work isn't just social, political, but it's also faith-driven as well. And that's where I have great pleasure of inviting you on the show to share with us one of your spoken word pieces. And we look forward to hearing it right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So just a little bit of background. This poem is called Demons, and by no means is it satanic. It's just talking about our own personal demons. So I'll just go ahead. By the moon split in two, my pen as my sword, and guide me to the truth. Innocent youths are locked up in demonic booths. My ink as my sword, I hope it reaches the mental ward. Why? Because they're the closest to the Lord. This is not for the pious or Islam's highest. It's for the lowly slaves led astray, fighting your demons every day. And in my mouth, there I shout, my mind is plagued in doubt. Walk in a fine line where jinns and demons will catch you out. Brother, I know your struggle confined in four walls, and it wasn't even your fault. Protecting your deen is unheard of, it's unseen. One single ray, one beam shoots through the eroded jail bars, struck the chambers of your heart, and I hope it brings you back to the most clean. Every night the trauma comes alive, you jolt with bolts of lightning, never powerful enough to electrocute your enemies. Seems like it's satisfying these demonic entities. By day you have no burdens, you're almost carefree. By night you prepare your armor and weapons for Armageddon free. So don't look at me so shocked, because I never spent a night bound and locked. I have a heart unlocked and I feel your pain. My arms were my mother's grave. Her last look into my eyes were like shockwaves. If you're not careful, you'll destroy everything, getting rid of the pain. This is why my life is in disdain. I spent all my nights engaged in fights, and I couldn't even bow my head to the Lord, till life tied and bound me to the floor. So I called to my Lord, I have nothing. And he responded, don't you see? The best place to be is on your knees. My name is your sword. Utter verily there is one Lord, and I'll be there before the demons knock at your door. How could you not adore and be in awe of a maker so merciful, purposeful? I invite my jinns and demons to battle, burn my flesh and my soul is free. It belongs to the Almighty, it's almost decreed. You'll never have ownership of something that doesn't even belong to me. So raise your head high. These scars, whether internal or external, are proof of the battles that you face for your Lord. Thank you.
Mashallah. That was a performance by Sister Els Syria, performing Demons exclusively on the Urban Kube this morning. I'm lost for words. That was utterly beautiful. I closed my eyes and I listened to you and I got very emotional and I had goosebumps.
Oh, thank you. Honestly, it's a blessing to hear that.
Oh, no, and I'm sure our listeners can really resonate indeed, because it is a battle of wits. It's a battle of wits, alhamdulillah, and we as Muslims are learning continuously about our faith and about our consciousness and our spirituality, and may you remain blessed with this gift that you have of words and wisdom. Folks, you're listening in. It's the Urban Kube with me, Shamiza, taking you all the way to 12 o'clock. The time is 11:48. I am joined by a very talented academic, author, and spoken word performer, a poet passionate about social and political issues, but also uses her faith as the basis of her writing as well. It is no other than the very remarkable Elena Kafrtkarimi, known as Sister L's Syria, on the show this morning. Thank you so very much for joining me, Elena. I'm so humbled by that beautiful piece. And that's not the only piece that you're going to be performing for us this morning. You have another one. Could I be gracious enough to ask you to perform that as well?
Absolutely, it's a pleasure, yeah. So it's called Unholy Fights on Holy Nights, and these are for Ramadan. I've written them exclusively.
MashaAllah.
So, thank you. Have you ever inhaled a chemical breeze, breaking fast, trying to breathe, neurological damage to the myelin sheath? Syrian hands are shaking as they try to eat. Multiple sclerosis, a gift from the elite. So who am I to preach? My unholy flaws are breaking holy laws, worrying about satanic tirades, breaking down Palestine's doors. I never knew what Itina Sirat al-Mustaqim was the finish line testing our deen, overlooked by demonic entities unseen. If you don't believe me, enter the light and you will see those closest to you planning murder of the third degree. I want to talk to the heartbroken amputee, his faith dissolved in the Dead Sea, as his little brother struggled to breathe, an instant funeral between waves and the great beneath. I hope you know that murder is the greatest breach, but these swine sign their names like sand in the beach, the same sand that welcome home lifeless bodies deceased. But who am I in this universe, with all this dimensionality, seeking truth throughout multiple realities? Oh Lord, save me from my insanity. Out of all the things I've lost, I miss my mind the most. This little parasite, now a host, infiltrating my heart. Now I'm in parts and pieces, trying to swim back to the start, desperately searching for your star. Though I patiently waited bedside for the death of today, and now I'm caught in an unholy fight on these holy nights. My political facade and my religious mirage, how can I fight for the right of a nation when I can't bow my head to the master of creation? I centered my broken heart to eternal damnation, because nothing thrives in these barren ventricles. I tried to strip love back to its biochemical, telling myself I have imbalanced chemicals. I thought you promised me your soul. Instead, I try and fill this gaping hole. Yeah, that was that poem.
You know what astounds me is you give this lovely little giggle at the end of it. I'm like, and it's so unexpected because I'm like, whoa. And then she gives me this little giggle. Like, it's okay. It's okay, Shamiza. It's all right.
Yes. I think that's why I do it, because it's so emotional for some people. And I'm like, no, it's really okay. Honestly, it will be fine, inshallah.
Inshallah. And this is a dua that I hope our listeners, Muslims, non-Muslims, everybody tuning in, that there is peace. There's peace and tranquility for our brothers and sisters in the lands of Palestine and Syria, Rohingya, and just all over the world, really, the atrocities that they're facing. May Allah be merciful. Wow. SubhanAllah, that was another dynamic poem performed by no other than Sister L's Syria. You can catch her on Instagram. I'm super delighted that Salam Charity introduced me to your phenomenal talent. And tell me how you've got involved with this charity, because they too are doing events like Open Iftar, Come Dine With Me, Open Iftar events across the country to with social influencers to kind of raise awareness of the plight of the Palestinian and Syrian refugees across Ramadan.
Yeah, it's actually beautiful what they're doing. I'm going to be very honest. I'm very, very new to the charity, but from everything that I've seen and the event, the Come Iftar With Me, it was such a beautiful, unifying thing where, you know, all these bloggers came together and we prepared food, and we were doing, I think they're using social media for good, you know what I mean? So it's like they're trying to reach out to more and more people. So I'm really proud to be a part of it so far, but I am very new, so I don't want to talk about something that I haven't done yet. But as far as I'm concerned, there's more events with Insta Lives, and they're doing a lot behind the scenes. They really are. They're working so hard.
MashaAllah.
So I'm really proud of them.
the fact that you're doing your PhD research on social media and mental health, mashallah, and the fact that you're talking about social media doing good through this work is just says quite a lot, and it's wonderful. Now, folks, if you're listening in, it's the Urban Kube. It is the final few minutes of the show, and I'm joined by no other than Sister Els Syria, who is it's a name you need to keep an ear and eye out for. She is definitely going to be somebody who's going to be making her mark in the spoken word scene. I think she already has. Mashallah, listening into two fantastic pieces performed on the show. I'm really humbled by both of them. Elena, how can people get in touch with you?
So I would say Instagram is the best way. I would love to give my email address, but it's so long. It's actually longer than my surname. So
let's just leave it there.
I'll take that for another day. Yeah.
So your Instagram handle, because there's lots of underscores.
Sure, yeah. It's so SISTA_ELZ_Syria.
Mashallah, mashallah. Now, today we're asking everybody what's their favourite word. Is there a favourite word? I mean, it seems quite extraordinary asking somebody so articulate in words. Do you have a favourite word?
Well, you're going to be shocked by the answer. I'm always confused as to what's going on. So I'm like, what's going on? I think it's more than a word. I don't understand. But apparently, according to my auntie, it's actually. So I don't know why I keep using that, but I always use actually. So.
Actually. Now, it's been an absolute pleasure having you joining us on the show this morning, Elena. Thank you so very much. Keep doing what you're doing. It's utterly phenomenal, and raising awareness through your words, mashallah. Have a beautiful Ramadan, and is there anything you'd like to say to our listeners? We're heading off. We've got 24 seconds regarding Ramadan.
Yes, it's an honor to be on the show, and don't give up your dreams, and inshallah Ramadan will be much more easier in these last few days and weeks, inshallah.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you for joining us. Assalamu alaikum.
Pleasure. Alaikum salam. Take care. Bye-bye.
With the wonderful, wonderful Elena, we're heading off to the end of the show. Assalamu alaikum. Catch us repeat 8 p.m. and join me next week, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. Why not tune in to our live stream at inspirefm.org and follow and subscribe to our social media platforms at Inspire FM Luton.